Hey everybody, it's Danny Karon, your lovable lawyer here with your quick shot of legal wellness. So in the videos I've been doing and the nicely produced ones, they've been kind of adult themes, kind of heavy themes, for people who are at work or driving cars or owning homes. But, I wanted to get into some other types of issues. And for that, I talked to my son. He's a high school senior, and his name is Morgan. I said, Morgan, what's going on out there, that's causing agitation and aggravation and fear and maybe things you don't care about, but you should care about? Because I want to kind of, tap, your guys' vibe, like, younger kids' vibes. And he said, why don't you talk about doxing? I said, doxing? What's doxing? I hadn't heard of it. And he told me about it, and I did a little looking, a little studying, and it's kind of a big thing, and it's a big problem. I mean, it's not unique to kids. I mean, older people can dox too. So maybe we should talk a little bit about it for sake of, kids and adults. So this one I got to look at a few notes because this is kind of dense, but it will make it kind of interesting at the same time. So what's doxing? Well, doxing is the practice of publishing online somebody's personal information, their name, their address, where they work, information about their family members, their social security number, all that sort of stuff. Things that are private to them, nobody's business, but you make it your business to let everybody else know about it. And that's, it's not okay for reasons we're going to be talking about. So, doxing, where's that weird term come from? I learned that this practice started out as dropping people's personal documents online. It got tightened up to doxing, hence, we have the term doxing, D-O-X-I-N-G. So why would somebody dox somebody else? Like, what's in it for you? Well, I don't even understand, or I didn't understand, I do now. Well, maybe you're mad at somebody. Okay, I don't know if it justifies doing this, but it's a basis. Maybe you want to expose somebody for something they did, like they were at a hate rally or something like that. Maybe you want to get revenge for something they did to you. That's a basis for doxing somebody. Or maybe you just want to get attention. You want to stir things up by putting something online because you think it'll be kind of cool and kind of fun. And we're going to come back to this getting attention one at the end. So the real question is, what happens if you dox? Can you get in trouble for it? Well, the answer is yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble for it. There are two types of trouble you could get into. The first is criminal trouble, criminal liability. Could you get arrested? Yeah, you could get arrested. Now, there's not a federal law against doxing, but there is a federal anti-stalking law. I'll give you the citation to it for anybody who's interested. It's 18 U.S. Code section 22618. And that's the law that says you can't stalk people, and if a prosecutor wanted to use it to prosecute a doxing claim, he or she could give it a shot. You could be in some real trouble federally. Well, let's go to the state level now, take it down. There are anti-stalking laws in several states, if not all states. I'll talk about one of them, California. California tends to have pretty broad laws in a lot of respects. So what the California Penal Code says, and this is at section 253.2 PC, says that it's a crime to send an electronic communication, which is an email or a text, with the intent of placing the recipient in reasonable fear of his or her safety or his or her family, safety. And doxing can do that. So if you dox in California or other states with anti-stalking laws, which is like I believe all of them, you could be in real trouble on a state level too as it concerns going to jail. And in California, by the way, the fine associated with breaking that penal code section is up to a year in jail or a $1,000 fine for putting something online that you didn't even need to. Now, that's the criminal side of it. How about the civil side? The civil side is where you have to pay money to somebody. The criminal side, you go to jail. Civil side, you got to reach into your pocket and pay people. Could there be civil liability for doxing somebody? Well, there could be there too, because it's all about foreseeability when you're talking civil laws. Did I think what I did could hurt somebody or cause them injury or damage? And you got to think about, could doxing do that? So let's say you dox somebody and they end up getting attacked because you gave up a private person's address. Or they take off from you because they don't want to be, seen, and they crash into a building or go off a bridge, God forbid. Are those foreseeable consequences of being doxed? You could argue yes, if you're the one who got doxed, and then you sue the doxer, and everything's online. So this is pretty easy stuff to find. You're not suing the person who beat you up or attacked you. You're suing the person, but for whose doxing, it wouldn't have happened. That's the hook. So there could be civil liability there for doxing. Real troubling, something to think about that a lot of kids who are doxing don't think about. Now, does anybody deserve to be doxxed? Maybe that's your excuse. Hey, you know what? He deserved it. She deserved it. He was going to a hate rally, like I mentioned earlier. That's not commendable for sure. But, to buy into that excuse is kind of like adopting a vigilante justice kind of vibe. And that's not what our society is caught up to yet. So you really can't fall back on that as an excuse. Now, I talked earlier also about, one of the reasons for doxing getting attention. We're going to talk about that at the end. Well, back in 2017, and it's 2021 right now, that I'm taping this. But back in 2017, this YouTube personality, Jake Paul, who's still around now, whether he'll be around when everybody sees us, I don't know. Hope not, because he's pretty obnoxious. He thought it'd be funny to dox this rapper Post Malone. Now, Jake Paul and his crew, they did some rapping of their own, and they have this merch they put out, and they saw that Post Malone had put in an order for some of their merch, some t-shirts and sweatshirts. So they figured it'd be funny to get his address from the order and hand deliver the merch to Post Malone's house. So they did it, and when they did it, they had somebody filming from the street, and they filmed Post Malone's address, his house, his cars, everything that was personal to him that nobody really knew about, but for this, this taping. They didn't blur it out, they just taped the whole thing. And Post Malone was pissed. Now, I don't believe he ever sued him, and I don't believe they ever got prosecuted in California where it happened, but both things could have happened. And maybe they will happen. Maybe something will happen, to Post Malone, and he'll ascribe it tie it back to the doxing. So real problems on a lot of real levels when you get cute and reckless and start putting folks' stuff up online, which a lot of kids tend to do. It can cause you civil liability and criminal liability, get on your record, tough to shake off if ever, cost you a job. You don't want to go there, not worth it. So that is a little bit of insight into doxing and what it can really do to you. So keep it in mind if you're thinking of going there. And that's today's quick shot. I hope everybody stays well.